My teenage daughter caught her mom cheating. Then I found out I'm not her biological father. Now we're rebuilding our lives without her. I'm John, 42M, and I've been married to Belinda, 40F, for almost 20 years. We met in college when I was 22 and she was 20. It was one of those typical college romances. We were in the same study group for a biology class, started hanging out more, and eventually started dating. After graduation, we both got jobs in the same city and decided to move in together. 2 years later, we got married in a small ceremony with just our close friends and family. We have a daughter, Maria, 14F, who's in 8th grade. Maria wasn't planned, but she was definitely wanted. Belinda and I had been married for about 5 years when we found out she was pregnant. We were excited but also a bit scared. Neither of us had much experience with kids, but we figured we'd learn as we went along. From the moment Maria was born, she's been the light of my life. She was always a curious kid, always asking questions about how things worked. As she grew older, she developed a love for science, just like her mom and me. We'd often spend weekends doing small science experiments at home or visiting the local science museum. Maria has always been a sensitive and mature kid for her age. She's the type of kid who notices when someone at school is feeling left out and goes out of her way to include them. She's also incredibly perceptive. Sometimes I think she understands people better than I do. Over the years, Maria and I have developed a close bond. She's always been closer to me than to Belinda, which sometimes caused a bit of tension in our household. Belinda would occasionally comment that she felt left out, but I always tried to encourage Maria to spend time with her mom too. We have this routine where Maria shares her day with me over dinner, telling me everything that happened from morning to night. It started when she was in 1st grade and had a tough time with a bully at school. I suggested we talk about our days during dinner, hoping it would help her open up. The habit stuck, and now it's our special time together. Belinda and I both have demanding jobs. I'm an engineer at a local tech company, and she's a biology professor at the nearby university. We've always tried to balance our careers with family life, but it hasn't always been easy. There have been times when work took precedence, leading to missed dinners or school events. We tried to make up for it with family vacations and weekend outings, but I know it's not the same as being there every day. Everything was going well, or so I thought, until I noticed a sudden change in Maria's behavior about a month ago. She seemed withdrawn and anxious, which was very unlike her. She started skipping our dinner conversations, saying she wasn't hungry or had too much homework. When she did join us, she was quiet and barely picked at her food. At first, I thought it might be typical teenage stuff. Maybe she had a fight with a friend or was stressed about school. But as the days went by and her behavior didn't improve, I started to worry more. I tried asking her casually if everything was okay, but she would just shrug and say she was fine. Belinda didn't seem to notice the change in Maria's behavior, or if she did, she didn't mention it. She had been working late a lot, saying she was preparing for a big conference. I didn't think much of it at the time. Busy periods at work were normal for both of us. After about 2 weeks of this, I decided to sit Maria down and have a serious talk. I waited until Belinda was at work one Saturday. She had been going in on weekends more often lately. I made Maria's favorite breakfast, chocolate chip pancakes, and asked her to join me in the kitchen. At first, Maria was reluctant to talk. She pushed her pancakes around on her plate and avoided eye contact. I told her that I had noticed she seemed upset lately, and that she could tell me anything. I promised her that no matter what it was, we would figure it out together. That's when Maria broke down. Through her tears, she told me something that shook me to my core. She had caught Belinda cheating. It happened about 3 weeks ago when Maria came home early from a school function. The drama club meeting she was supposed to attend had been cancelled, but she forgot to text us about it. When she got home, she heard noises coming from upstairs. Maria said she thought maybe Belinda had come home early too and was watching TV in the bedroom. But as she got closer to our room, she realized the noises weren't from a TV. She was about to knock when suddenly, the door flung open. Belinda came rushing out, trying to put on her shirt and pants at the same time. She nearly ran into Maria, who was standing frozen in the hallway. Right behind Belinda was a man Maria didn't recognize, wearing only his boxers. Belinda looked horrified when she saw Maria. The man behind her cursed and ran back into the bedroom. Belinda grabbed Maria by the shoulders and told her to go to her room, that she would explain everything later. But Maria, in shock, just stood there. The man came out of the bedroom a minute later, fully dressed now. He ran past them and down the stairs. Belinda ran after him, and Maria, not knowing what else to do, followed. They all ended up outside. The man jumped into a car parked on the street and sped away. Belinda stood in the driveway, watching him go. When she turned around and saw Maria standing on the porch, she started crying. Belinda begged Maria not to tell me. She said it was a mistake, that it would never happen again. She even offered to buy Maria the new phone she had been wanting if she kept quiet. But Maria, brave kid that she is, looked her mother in the eye and said, "You know I'm gonna tell Dad." After telling me all this, Maria broke down again. She said she had been carrying this secret for weeks, not knowing what to do. She was angry at her mom, scared about what it meant for our family, and felt guilty for not telling me sooner. I hugged Maria and told her she had done the right thing by telling me. I assured her that none of this was her fault, and that I was proud of her for being honest. We spent the rest of the day together, watching movies and talking. I wanted to make sure she felt safe and supported. Now, I'm left trying to figure out what to do next. Belinda isn't home right now. She left yesterday, saying she was going to visit her parents. But given what Maria told me, I doubt that's true. I tried calling her cell, but it goes straight to voicemail. I'm writing this post because I don't know what to do. My primary concern is Maria. She's been through so much, and I don't want to make things worse for her. But I also can't imagine staying with Belinda after this betrayal. How do I protect my daughter while also dealing with this infidelity? I'm considering divorce, but I'm worried about how it will affect Maria. She's already dealing with the trauma of what she saw, and I don't want to add to her stress. At the same time, I can't see how I can continue living with Belinda knowing what she's done. I keep thinking about all the signs I missed. The late nights at work, the weekend conferences, the sudden interest in her appearance. It all makes sense now, but I was too trusting to see it before. I haven't confronted Belinda yet. She doesn't know that I know about her affair. Part of me wants to confront her immediately, to demand answers and explanations. But another part of me is afraid of what I might do or say in the heat of the moment. I don't want to make rash decisions that I might regret later, especially when Maria's well-being is at stake. I'm also worried about the practical aspects of this situation. If we divorce, what will happen to our home? Our finances? Maria's education? There's so much to consider, and I feel overwhelmed by it all. I keep thinking about Maria and how brave she was to tell me the truth. She could have kept it to herself, afraid of causing problems, but she chose to be honest with me. I'm proud of her for that, but I'm also heartbroken that she had to be put in this position in the first place. I'm not sure what my next steps should be. Should I confront Belinda? Should I talk to a lawyer first? How do I support Maria through this? Any advice would be appreciated. I feel lost and alone, and I need guidance on how to navigate this terrible situation. Update 1: It's been 2 weeks since my last post, and a lot has happened. I want to thank everyone who offered advice and support. Your words gave me the strength to take action. After careful consideration, I decided to confront Belinda. I waited until Maria was at a friend's house for a sleepover, not wanting her to be present for what I knew would be a difficult conversation. The day before the confrontation, I spent some time gathering evidence. I checked our phone records and found numerous calls and texts to a number I didn't recognize, often late at night or during Belinda's supposed work events. I also found some suspicious charges on our credit card statement for hotel rooms and restaurants in town on nights when Belinda said she was working late. I also did some digging into Belinda's recent work history. She had mentioned a big conference she was preparing for, but when I checked the university's website, I couldn't find any information about it. It seemed like her excuses for being away from home were just that, excuses. When Belinda came home that evening, I was waiting for her in the living room. I had turned off the TV and was sitting in silence when she walked in. She seemed surprised to see me there, as I usually waited up for her in the bedroom. I calmly told her that we needed to talk. I could see the confusion on her face turn to fear as I started speaking. I told her that I knew about her affair, that Maria had seen her with another man, and that I had evidence of her lies and deceit. At first, Belinda tried to deny it. She claimed it was a misunderstanding, that Maria must have been confused about what she saw. But when I presented her with the details Maria had shared and the evidence I had gathered, she broke down. Belinda admitted to the affair, saying it had been going on for 6 months. She said it started innocently, just drinks with a colleague after work. But it quickly escalated into something more. She tried to justify it, saying she felt neglected, that she wanted excitement, that she didn't mean for it to happen. I asked her about the man, who he was, how they met. Belinda revealed that he was a new professor in her department. They had been working closely on a research project, which led to late nights at the office and eventually, the affair. As Belinda talked, I felt a mix of emotions: anger, hurt, disgust. This woman, who I had loved and trusted for 20 years, had betrayed me in the worst possible way. And not only that, she had involved our daughter in her deceit. I told Belinda how her actions had not only destroyed our marriage but had also traumatized Maria. I described how Maria had been struggling for weeks, carrying the burden of this secret. Belinda looked shocked. It seemed she hadn't considered the impact on Maria beyond the initial discovery. The conversation quickly turned heated. Belinda begged for forgiveness, promising to end the affair and work on our marriage. She said she would do anything to make it right, go to counseling, change jobs, whatever it took. But I couldn't get past the betrayal. It wasn't just the physical affair that bothered me, but the months of lies and deceit. How many times had she looked me in the eye and lied about where she was going? How many family dinners had she missed for her affair? In the heat of the moment, I told Belinda to leave. I couldn't bear to look at her, knowing what she had done. She pleaded to stay, to talk things through, but I was firm. I told her to pack a bag and go to her parents' house or her lover's, I didn't care which. As Belinda was packing, Maria came home unexpectedly. Her friend's parents had to leave town for a family emergency, so the sleepover was cancelled. The moment Maria saw Belinda with a suitcase, she understood what was happening. Maria broke down in tears, and I held her as Belinda stood there, looking lost and guilty. Maria, through her tears, told Belinda how much she had hurt us, how she couldn't understand why her mother would do this to our family. It was heartbreaking to watch, but I was proud of Maria for standing up for herself and expressing her feelings. Belinda tried to approach Maria, to explain or comfort her, but Maria recoiled from her touch. That moment seemed to hit Belinda harder than anything else. She finally understood the full impact of her actions. With tears in her eyes, Belinda left the house. Maria and I spent the rest of the evening talking. I assured her that none of this was her fault, that she had done the right thing by telling me the truth. We talked about our feelings, our fears, and our hopes for the future. The next day, I contacted a lawyer to start the divorce proceedings. The lawyer advised me to gather all financial documents and to keep a record of any communication with Belinda. He also suggested we consider counseling for Maria to help her process everything that had happened. I also reached out to my boss to explain the situation. I was worried about how this might affect my work, but my boss was understanding. He gave me some time off to deal with the immediate fallout and assured me that my job was secure. Belinda has been calling and texting nonstop, begging for another chance. She's even shown up at the house a few times, but I've refused to let her in. Maria doesn't want to see her right now, and I'm respecting her wishes. I'm still struggling with my emotions. There are moments when I miss the life we had, the family we were. But then I remember Belinda's betrayal, and I know I'm making the right decision. My focus now is on Maria and helping her through this. We're taking it one day at a time. Maria and I are growing closer through this ordeal, supporting each other. I'm doing my best to create a stable, loving environment for her, even as our family structure changes. The road ahead won't be easy, but I'm committed to getting through this for Maria's sake and my own. Thank you all for your support. I'll update again when there are new developments. Update 2: It's been 3 months since my last update, and the situation has taken several unexpected turns. I appreciate everyone's continued support during this challenging time. The divorce proceedings are underway, and it's been a difficult process. Belinda initially contested the divorce, still hoping for reconciliation. She's been sending emails and leaving voicemails, alternating between begging for forgiveness and accusing me of being unforgiving and destroying our family. I've been saving all of these messages on the advice of my lawyer, but I haven't been responding to them. Maria has been struggling with the changes in our family. She's been seeing a counselor, which has been helping her process her emotions. There have been some tough days, days when she's angry at Belinda, days when she misses how things used to be, and days when she blames herself despite my constant reassurance that none of this is her fault. At school, Maria's grades have slipped a bit. Her teachers have been understanding once I explained the situation, and they're working with us to help Maria catch up. I've been trying to maintain as much normalcy as possible for her, helping her with homework and encouraging her to stay involved in her extracurricular activities. About a month ago, I received an anonymous email. The sender claimed to have information about Belinda's affair. At first, I was hesitant to respond. I thought maybe it was Belinda trying to get in touch with me through a different email, or maybe it was just someone trying to stir up trouble. But curiosity got the better of me, and I agreed to meet them at a local coffee shop. The person who showed up was a woman named Lisa. She looked to be about our age, and she seemed nervous as she approached my table. She introduced herself as the wife of Mark, the man Belinda had been having an affair with. Lisa had known about the affair for months but had been gathering evidence before confronting her husband. She had hired a private investigator who had followed Mark and taken photos of him with Belinda. Lisa showed me some of these photos, and it was difficult to see Belinda and this man together, looking happy and carefree while Maria and I were at home, oblivious. What Lisa told me next left me stunned. According to her, Belinda and Mark's affair hadn't been going on for just 6 months as Belinda had claimed. It had been happening on and off for nearly 3 years. Lisa had text messages, emails, and even hotel receipts dating back to that time. I was shocked. 3 years meant that this affair had been going on for much longer than I had imagined. It meant that all those times Belinda had said she was working late, all those weekend conferences, all those girls' nights out, they could all have been lies. But the most shocking revelation was yet to come. Lisa believed that Mark might be the biological father of Maria. I felt like the ground had disappeared from under my feet. Maria, my beloved daughter, might not be mine biologically? The thought was almost too much to bear. Lisa explained that she had pieced together the timeline of the affair and realized it coincided with Maria's conception. She showed me some of the evidence she had gathered, text messages between Belinda and Mark discussing Belinda's pregnancy scare, emails where they talked about the possibility of the baby being Mark's. I left that meeting in a daze. I didn't want to believe it, but I knew I had to find out the truth. I spent days agonizing over how to approach this with Maria. She had already been through so much, and I was afraid this would destroy her. I decided to confide in my brother, Tom. He's always been my closest friend and confidant. When I told him what I had learned, he was as shocked as I was. But he gave me some good advice. He said that regardless of biology, I was Maria's father in all the ways that mattered. He encouraged me to get a paternity test for legal reasons, but reminded me that it shouldn't change how I felt about Maria. After much consideration, I decided to tell Maria about the possibility. She deserved to know the truth, no matter how painful it might be. I asked her to come sit with me in the living room one evening after dinner. I could see the worry on her face. These serious talks had rarely brought good news lately. When I told her about meeting Lisa and what I had learned, Maria was initially in shock. Then she broke down, crying and asking why this was happening to us. She asked if this meant she would have to go live with Mark now, or if I would stop loving her. It broke my heart to see her so scared and confused. I held her and assured her that no matter what the test results showed, she would always be my daughter. Our bond went beyond biology. I told her about my conversation with Tom, and how he had reminded me that being a father was about love and care, not just DNA. Maria seemed to calm down a bit after that, but I could tell she was still processing everything. We decided to do the paternity test together. The waiting period was excruciating. Maria was on edge, and I was trying to stay strong for her while dealing with my own turmoil. We tried to keep our routine as normal as possible, but there was a tension in the air that we couldn't shake. When the results came back, they confirmed our worst fears. Biologically, I am not Maria's father. Maria was devastated. She locked herself in her room for days, barely eating or speaking. I would sit outside her door, talking to her, reminding her that I loved her no matter what. Sometimes she would talk back, sometimes she would just cry. It was the hardest few days of my life. I confronted Belinda with this information. I went to her apartment. She had been staying with a friend since she moved out. When I told her what I had learned, she broke down completely. She admitted that she had suspected Mark might be Maria's father but had convinced herself it wasn't true. She begged for forgiveness, saying she never meant to hurt us like this. I was beyond furious. Belinda's selfishness and lies had caused unimaginable pain to Maria and me. I told Belinda that I would be seeking full custody of Maria and that I wanted her out of our lives for good. Belinda tried to argue, saying that she was still Maria's mother, but I reminded her that she had lost the right to call herself that when she chose her affair over her family. As for Mark, he tried to reach out after finding out about the paternity test results. He sent a letter saying he wanted to be part of Maria's life, that he had a right to know his daughter. I showed the letter to Maria, but she wants nothing to do with him. She said, "You're my dad. You've always been my dad. I don't want to know him." I'm respecting her wishes and keeping him away from her. Maria and I are now in family therapy, trying to navigate this new reality. It's been hard, but we're slowly healing. Maria has made it clear that regardless of biology, she considers me her real father. Her strength and maturity continue to amaze me. The divorce proceedings have taken a new turn with these revelations. My lawyer is confident that we have a strong case for full custody and a favorable settlement. Belinda's infidelity and the length of her deception are working in our favor. This journey has been incredibly painful, but it's also shown me the strength of the bond between Maria and me. We're not just surviving this ordeal, we're growing stronger together. I'm committed to being the best father I can be for Maria, biology be damned. Update 3. It's been 6 months since my last update, and I wanted to share how things have progressed. Life has settled into a new normal for Maria and me, and we're focusing on healing and moving forward. The divorce was finalized last month. Thanks to the evidence of Belinda's long-term affair and the paternity revelation, I was granted full custody of Maria. Belinda has visitation rights, but Maria has chosen not to see her for now. I'm supporting Maria's decision while leaving the door open for reconciliation in the future if that's what Maria wants. The judge was particularly sympathetic to our case given the extent of Belinda's deception. She not only lost primary custody but also had to pay a significant amount in the settlement. My lawyer advised me to put this money aside for Maria's future education, which is what I've done. Maria has been seeing a therapist regularly, and it's been helping her process everything. She's slowly coming to terms with her identity and the changes in our family. There are still difficult days, but she's showing incredible resilience. Her grades have improved, and she's back to participating in her school's science club. One particularly tough moment came when Maria had to do a family tree project for school. She wasn't sure how to handle it given everything that had happened. We sat down together and talked it through. In the end, Maria decided to put both me and Belinda on her tree, but she used a different color for Belinda to represent their complicated relationship. She chose not to include Mark at all. I was proud of how she handled it, finding a way to acknowledge the truth while also asserting her feelings about who she considers family. As for me, I've been focusing on being the best father I can be for Maria. I've taken some time off work to be more present for her, and we've been spending a lot of quality time together. We've started new traditions, like weekend hikes and cooking lessons, which have helped strengthen our bond even further. I've also been working on myself. I started seeing a therapist to help me process my own feelings about everything that's happened. It's been helpful to have a space to express my anger and hurt without worrying about how it might affect Maria. Belinda has made attempts to reconcile with Maria, sending letters and gifts. Maria reads the letters but isn't ready to respond yet. I'm proud of how maturely she's handling the situation, taking time to process her feelings before making any decisions. There was one incident where Belinda showed up at Maria's school, trying to talk to her. Maria called me, upset, and I had to leave work to handle the situation. I made it clear to Belinda that she needs to respect Maria's boundaries. Since then, she's stuck to sending letters, which I think is better for everyone. Mark, Maria's biological father, has respected our wishes and kept his distance. He did send a letter expressing his regret for the pain he caused and offering to be there if Maria ever wants to know him. Maria has decided to keep the letter but isn't interested in a relationship with him at this time. She told me, "I already have a dad. I don't need another one." On a personal note, I've started to reconnect with old friends and even joined a support group for single parents. It's been helpful to talk with others who understand what I'm going through. I've made a few good friends in the group, and we sometimes arrange playdates with our kids. I've also been trying to take care of myself better. I've started running in the mornings before Maria wakes up. It gives me time to clear my head and stay healthy. Maria has noticed and even asked if she could join me sometimes. Now we do a short run together on Sunday mornings, followed by a big breakfast. It's become one of my favorite parts of the week. Maria and I have also been planning for the future. We've talked about her education goals, and I'm committed to supporting her dreams. She's expressed interest in studying biology, ironically, given Belinda's profession, and we've been looking into summer science camps for her. We're even considering moving to a new house to make a fresh start. Our current home holds a lot of memories, both good and bad, and we think a change of scenery might do us good. We've been house hunting on weekends, turning it into a fun activity for us to do together. This journey has been the most challenging experience of my life, but it's also shown me the incredible strength of the human spirit. Maria and I have faced unimaginable challenges, but we've come through them together, our bond stronger than ever. I'm grateful for the support I've received from this community throughout this ordeal. Your advice and encouragement have been invaluable. While our story doesn't have a traditional happy ending, I believe Maria and I are on the path to creating a new, fulfilling life together.